Welcome to the Enchanted Ears podcast,
where we discuss anything and everything Disney.
I'm Angela.
And I'm Joe, and on today's episode, we are recapping everything we ate at Walt Disney World.
This is my kind of episode.
During our last trip. We tried...
No, currently. Of course it was during our last trip, you goofball.
Our trip a couple weeks ago. So if you didn't catch last week's episode, we recapped Dopey Weekend, running the Dopey Challenge, all marathon weekend. So if you want to hear that, about what it's like running marathon weekend, being down there for that, definitely check that one out. This one's all focused on places we ate at. What was interesting is we ate at a lot of new places.
Yeah.
So a lot of places we've never tried before. So want to talk about that. I also like these episodes, and I think these are helpful because we've talked about a lot about this. We've done a lot of like food episodes, best places to eat, things like that. There are so many places to eat at Walt Disney World.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the best way to find places is just hearing recommendations from somebody. Because most all the restaurants are decent. Like for the most part, you can't really go wrong, especially if you're doing a table service, as long as you like the style of food, you know, to a certain extent. It's not going to be a horrible meal. So a lot of it is just like, hey, I heard of this restaurant. Let me go try it. Maybe I love it. Maybe, hey, it's okay. I don't need to go back there. So like, I feel like these are good because it's just like, here's some places we ate at. Here's what we thought. Oh, that sounds interesting to me. Let me go try it.
Right. I mean, I think that, you know, some of these restaurants even weren't our first choices for where we wanted to go, but it ended up really nice because we ended up having to go some other place that we probably wouldn't necessarily have tried it. We wanted to get reservations on Sunday night to meet with like a group of people at the Boathouse, but since that wasn't available, we ended up over at Chef Art Smith's Homecomin. So
we pivoted there and got to try Homecomin instead of just going to the Boathouse, which we've been at before. We ended up going to the Boathouse too. But we'll get into all that. Before we do, let's cover the Disney news of the week. So this week, a couple pieces of news down at Walt Disney World, actually, both at Walt Disney World. So one is we have some formal confirmation on what's happening to the building that housed the Galactic Star Cruiser. So it came out that it's going to be turned into offices for Imagineering. Basically, it's going to kind of be their home base down there as they are doing all these expansions at Walt Disney World with the Tropical Americas and Monsters Inc. Land, that sort of thing. It's going to become their offices, which I don't necessarily think is what Josh D'Amaro had in mind when he said something's going to happen to it. I don't necessarily think he thought it was going to be office space, but here we are.
The Instagram was aflames when this news broke, and I totally understand why, because I mean, being people that, you know, got a chance to like actually do this, like you understand how much it means to people. Like it has forged a community. And I mean, if you if you're interested about this, we did we might have done 2 episodes because we had the opportunity to do it twice. So like, it's an interesting experience that it's really hard to explain, but basically it was really fun. And it's just a shame that other people aren't going to experience any part of that. Like, I didn't think it was going to come back in the same capacity, but I thought they were going to shorten it and still create some sort of immersive experience where you might have interactions with the characters, but in a shorter format, like a Hoop-Dee-Doo review or something like that.
Well, and I don't think that's ruled out officially. It's just now it's going to be office space, so nobody's going to come in. I think as part of the report, when this came out, you know, they said that they were play testing some other things in there, like I think a dinner show or some other stuff. It sounds like that may be stuff that they play tested for the parks. I think, you know, having it as offices or doing something kind of made sense for all of the hotel rooms. Like they were never going to reuse those hotel rooms. So I think they could make those offices. And I think potentially down the road, you could see this reopen as something. I think right now what the problem is I think it's the leadership. I think it's Bob Iger. I mean, I think this is maybe somewhat of a smart move in that Imagineers need a place to go. This gives them a place to go for the next 4 or 5 years. I think at that point, Bob Iger will be gone. I think he will eventually not be CEO anymore. There was a lot of reports, as the reporting of the switch from Iger to Chapek back to Iger, that it sounds like one of the reasons that this thing got axed was that it was Chapek's idea, and Bob Iger was basically eliminating anything Chapek, had a part of.
I mean, as much as a lot of people had to say about Chapek, I do think this was one of his good ideas.
It definitely was revolutionary, and it may not have worked as commercially as they wanted, but it definitely pushed things forward. But I think that's some of it too. I think where they were pitching new ideas for it, I think, again, transportation, getting people to and from there, I think is a little bit difficult. But I think just the fact that it seems like Iger has a bad taste in his mouth on this one, that he was never going to greenlight anything. So, maybe 4 or 5 years down the road, there's somebody else in charge, somebody else making different decisions. Maybe it's utilized as something again, because I would hate to think that they're just going to tear down all of that set work. Even leaving it up so Imagineers can just use it to kind of, as a creative space, it seems to make sense to keep it versus just kind of completely tearing it all down.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it would be inspirational to be an Imagineer, but at the same time, I feel like it would be like working inside a skeleton. Like, this is what Imagineering was at some of its finest, and look what we've done with it. So just, go out of the box, but not too far out of the box.
It's kind of like, it also is kind of like a message like, don't reach too far.
Yeah. Don't reach to the stars.
Don't get too close to the sun there. So the other thing is jelly rolls. Disney Food Blog was reporting kind of official confirmation now that jelly rolls will be closing. We kind of had heard this rumors that it was going to be closing the first of the year and then sometime in January, something like that. But it seems like they are officially closing at the boardwalk. Disney Food Blog was saying, though, it sounds like they're going to be moving. They said they expect them to be opening in a new location because jelly rolls, they were like a national brand. I don't know if there's any other jelly rolls anywhere else in the country. I don't know if Disney's the last one there, but it's not a Disney owned property, so they can very easily just kind of move to a different location in Florida. So I don't know if that's going to be on Disney property somewhere else in Orlando, but it sounds like Disney Food Blog was saying they're expecting them to move somewhere else. No official closing date, but the spring. So that could be, within the next couple months here. So if you're interested in going, sounds like you maybe have a few months left to go experience jelly rolls.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to get there on marathon weekend, but just with the early wake ups, it was impossible. So
yeah, because that's at nighttime. It's like it opens at 8 or 9 until they start playing. So that's kind of tough.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then before we jump back into our main topic on the food, we did have one listener question this week. So from Mandy M, they ask, what was the first Disney movie you watched, either animated or live action? That is a very difficult question because probably the first Disney movie I watched, I was like 2 or 3, and I don't remember. I will say I think the first Disney movie that I have a recollection of was Aladdin, because I very specifically remember in kindergarten for Halloween dressing as Aladdin for Halloween that year. And so I had to have seen the movie and liked the movie. And so I'm assuming that's the first one I saw. Beauty and the Beast came out before it, so I'm sure I probably watched that as well. But Aladdin is like the earliest one I can remember. I mean, you're kindergarten, like 5 or 6 years old? So it's like I dressed up as Aladdin for Halloween. So like I specifically remember seeing that movie and liking that movie.
Did Aladdin come out in 93?
Yeah, because I think Beauty and the Beast was like 92, and then Aladdin, and then I think Lion King was 94. So it was probably 93 that came out.
So I'm going to take a similar approach to this question that as you did, because I most likely saw movies before my earliest memory of it, but I remember very distinctly watching The Lion King. So again, like for those of you who are young and, you've only existed when streaming existed.
It was an animated movie. Is that what you were going to say for the young people that think it's just a live action film?
No,
it was
I'm
actually
not even going there.
movie.
I won't even acknowledge. But anyway, yeah, like you had to have the DVD, or actually we predate
VHS,
DVD. So I had to have the VHS. So I remember
Did you break the VHS tape? You watched it so many times?
I didn't. I wasn't one of, I watched it a lot. I think I watched The Lion King every single day. And my mom
Every single day.
I mean, it was
I'm not surprised.
very,
You know every word.
it was very frequently. So I went back and forth between The Lion King and, believe it or not, Liar Liar with Jim Carrey.
You know, you're somebody, you do this nowadays too. Like in the mornings, you'll watch the same show. Like you've watched Parks and Rec like 7 times. I watch a show once and I'm like, okay, I'm good. I'll maybe revisit it years later, but like you can watch the same thing over and over again.
It is only like with my favorites.
It's like music. It's almost like music. Like you have your favorite song and you kind of just like play it in the background. So you did that with Lion King. It started from a very young age.
But like I don't know if I like sat down and like fully paid attention to it, but like with Parks and Rec, like it's more of like a passive watching. I'll be doing my makeup and like I get to watch, like I'll look down every now and again when I know something funny is going to happen.
But what's interesting is I now see the origin of this. Young Angela every single day watching The Lion King, and so you've just gotten used to watching the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
This explains a lot.
It's true.
This is why we do this podcast. We like to go back to our childhood, and we like to figure out why we do the weird things we do today.
Okay, so then also, and I'm going to say something that maybe you don't even know about me, and we've been together for a very long time, so this it's very rare that Joe learns that anything new about me, but when I was little and we used to go over my Uncle Donnie and Aunt Patty's house, they had they had a little TV and I was the youngest cousin. So I always felt like I kind of didn't fit in, but they would throw on a DVD for me. And the DVD was, I can't remember what the name of this movie was, but it was the second Aladdin movie, like the straight to DVD Aladdin movie.
And wasn't that the
Return of Jafar? Return of Jafar. Yeah. And
that's
so
where he's like the red.
Yeah,
he the red genie?
He was the red genie in that one. So it's interesting because like I associate that very closely with going to their house. So you
remember that? Like you remember watching that as a kid?
Yeah, I remember watching that as a kid and then also running into their sliding glass door full tilt.
That explains a lot. So Lion King, Aladdin 2, on repeat, running into a glass door. Completely explains you today. Exactly. 100% get it. So
exactly.
But yeah, so thanks for the question.
Thank you. I enjoyed answering that question. I liked it.
Any of our other listeners have a question, you can reach out to us on Instagram. We're at Enchanted Ears Podcast, or our website, enchantedears.com/podcast question. All right, let's get into food. So let's go through all the places we ate at Walt Disney World during our last trip. So we're going to start with via Napoli because that's the first place we started. Figured, hey, pizza, pasta, carb load, going to be running a lot of races.
We don't speak in complete sentences here in the house.
Gotta be quick. So I had the filet. It was the fileo.
Would you like me to say this one?
Manzo? Fileo manzo?
Filetto manzo.
Manzo? Okay. It was a filet. It was a filet with fingerling, potatoes, carrots, and green beans. It was $49, and then Angela, you got the margarita pizza. You got the large one because I wanted a little bit of it too, and that was $36.
So I thought that the pizza was definitely good. I loved the flavor of the cheese. I thought that it had a really good flavor to it, but that's sort of where my compliments end. I thought that it was... like I liked the crust mostly, but there was like a flavor on the bottom of the crust that I couldn't quite put my finger on that was almost like bitter to me. I didn't really like. And the sauce itself was kind of runny, almost like ketchup, like a watered down ketchup. And it was kind of more on the sweeter side. So for me, like when I eat a pizza, I want it to be like more on the savory side than the sweet side. And I felt like this one struck more of a balance between the two. Like it had a little bit of savory and sweet going on, but not like in the way that some things do, like caramel, salted caramel pretzel or something, like where that's like the salty and sweet. It didn't
the
didn't
balance
strike.
Wasn't right for you.
Yeah, the balance wasn't right for me. I will say that like I had I think I had a little bit of a leftover. I felt like it was a little better leftover than I felt like it was fresh, but this was nowhere near the best pizza I've ever eaten, so it was okay.
Yeah, and if you've not been to Via Napoli, like they have like wood fire ovens there, like very authentic. It is good pizza. I mean, I know a lot of people say it's the best pizza at Disney, and I think that's probably true because a lot of the pizza is just like I feel like microwave pizza, like you get at school.
Yeah, but you know what's funny?
You like that pizza
like
better.
I love a good crappy pizza sometimes. So
Yeah.
again, I'm maybe not the best person to ask, but I think that they tend to be a little saltier again.
Yeah.
So that's why I
but
like them.
in terms of like an actual pizza, like this is good. Now, I love Blaze Pizza. And that's a chain restaurant, so you're going to get like the same quality everywhere you go. So if you like Blaze Pizza, they have a Blaze Pizza at Disney Springs. That might be the actual best pizza. But I think in terms of like Disney pizza, this is very good. It is a thin crust, which I typically don't like. I'm not a huge like thin crust guy, but I did enjoy this. Like I did enjoy this pizza. I'm with you. It's not the best pizza I've ever had. Is it a place that I would have to be like, I have to go there and get this pizza? No. I think a lot of it too is like they sell those like 3-foot long pizzas. So like if you got a big family, like you can get a pretty big pizza there. Kind of feed your whole family there. They have a lot of different toppings. My steak was really good. It was very tender, very flavorful. You kind of said it almost had like a richness of like pot roast.
Yeah, it kind of had like a pot roasty flavor to me. Like it had kind of like a richness that you can get from like a good pot roast. And of course, like pot roast can be like usually is tender as well because it sits for a while in its juices. And so it was good, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. The rosemary butter was great. It added like a great flavor to the steak and to the vegetables and everything. That was definitely a highlight.
Yeah, we're a big family, we're a big fan of rosemary here in this household.
Yeah.
Like we tend to cook with. We've learned recently that we really enjoy it, so
Yeah.
you cook with it a lot.
It's great. I thought the green beans were really good too. They were fresh. They had a really good snap to them, and they were like really well seasoned. They were some of the best like green beans I had.
Yeah, I think I tried them and wasn't much of a fan. I felt like they were a little bit. They weren't. I don't like my green beans soggy, but I felt like they were a little bit undercooked for my liking.
But the carrots and the potatoes were, I felt like kind of bland. Like the carrots, not really much. And the potatoes, I was kind of underwhelmed by. Like I had higher hopes for the potatoes, but I feel like, I don't know if it was just the seasoning, just something was missing on the potatoes. The green beans, again, I thought were great. I thought the steak was great. So overall, I was very happy, but I would have wished the potatoes were a little bit stronger. There's a lot of other stuff there, like they have pasta dishes. Like I want to go back. That's what most of these places like. Looking at the menu, there's like 3 or 4 things I would like to eat. So I'd love to go back and try some other stuff. Like I don't think I'd have to get pizza again, but I'd love to try like one of their pasta dishes next time.
I need to become the kind of person that keeps a running list of everything that I've eaten. And then like I need to just have a note in my app of the places we've eaten in Disney World and what I ordered and if I liked it, if I thought it was not very good, or if I loved it. Because like I'm pretty sure I've ordered the pizza at Via Napoli before, probably even gotten the margarita pizza, and I feel like the last time I got it there as well, I was like, it was fine. I think I maybe tried, I think they had one with like mushrooms or something on it. I think I had that the last time, but I wanted to get a pizza that like you and I both would enjoy. And so I think that like I need to create that list, and so I like remember where to repeat.
Well, luckily for you, we have a list right now. We're reading off of it. So
we have a podcast.
Just save this note that we have right here.
Yeah.
And then you'll have everything you ate next time we go to Disney. All right, moving on. Summerhouse on the Lake. So this was new for us. We had done Via Napoli before. Summerhouse on the Lake. It's a relatively new restaurant down in Disney Springs. It is a place we have been wanting to go to.
It has a beautiful aesthetic. It was beautiful on the inside.
So it's kind of like it's like California inspired food. In there, and then again, it's right, kind of modern aesthetic. It's right on. It's not the lake, but it's like right on like the waterway at Disney Springs there.
It felt very high end to me.
It did, yeah.
So like I felt like of all of the places that we ate at, I felt like it was. I don't want to say the stuffiest, but it felt like the most expensive.
It's also like the newest. And I think that's part of it too. It's just it's a very like high end aesthetic on there. Now we went for lunch. So I got the stacked turkey sandwich with fries. Mine was $18.95. Angela, you got the wood grilled artichoke, which was like an appetizer. That was $17. And then the spicy kale salad, which was $18.
I like how yours was $18.95, but mine were an even $17 and $18,
yours
not
weren't.
$16.95 and $17.95.
Yeah, all right. So I rounded up on yours. They also have like a brunch that looks amazing. And I think they're kind of like known for somewhat a little bit the brunch. Like, again, this is a place, and we'll kind of get into like what we thought. Overall, just maybe kind of jumping ahead a little bit, I really wasn't too thrilled with what I ordered. But again, this is a place that like had so much stuff on the menu. The brunch looks phenomenal in terms of what they have, that like I want to go back here 100%, but I don't think I would ever order what I ordered again.
Yeah. Yeah, so like kind of just to go through what I got. So I got the like we said, I got the artichoke, which came with a cool little card.
This was awesome. This was absolutely awesome when this came.
Well, it was very useful because I've never in my life eaten like just a straight like artichoke. Like I've eaten things with artichoke in it, but I've never eaten like the actual artichoke. I guess it's a vegetable, right? Vegetable, like where they cook it and then you eat it with the leaves. So it told you how to like actually you put the leaf in your mouth and you like use your teeth to like remove, like strip the like the soft part of the leaf off. And like that whole thing was like a fun little interesting experience. For me, I thought it was tasty. I got kind of tired of working my way through it. It's a lot of effort.
It's definitely made to share. I mean, it's a lot.
It was huge.
It's an appetizer.
It was like I think it was an entire artichoke.
Yeah, it's meant to share.
So there were like a couple other people at the table. They ate a little bit of it, but I ended up giving it to our friend that was with us, like because I was over it. It was good. $17 good. No. I would be interested in trying artichoke again, but I don't know if it was necessarily Summerhouse on the Lake, or I just don't necessarily like artichoke prepared this way. And by like it, I mean like I don't love it because I thought it was good. And then as far as the spicy kale Caesar salad, there's a lot going on there. Spicy, Caesar, those
kale,
two words.
Salad. Oh, I thought we were saying words. Sorry.
No, I'm saying words that like indicate flavor, but this ended up being a very bland salad. Like, for it being Caesar dressing, I mean, Caesar dressing utilizes fish, like I think it's anchovies to give it that flavor. And it was just very like kind of, I don't want to say fresh tasting. It didn't have a whole lot of flavor. It like lacked some sort of like salt. I'm not a chef. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it needed something extra to make it better. Now, I didn't get any add-ons. I didn't get any protein with it or anything. But again, I think that a salad should be able to stand on its own without you having to add protein to it to give it some sort of a flavor. So overall for me, that like you said kind of earlier, this is a place that if we maybe went back for the brunch, I would be interested in trying it. They do have like a Brussels sprout salad, but after having the kale salad, I don't have a whole lot of faith that it would be like very like delicious. But I would try it one more time just to see if I ordered wrong. But I did get 2 different dishes and neither of them were that impressive to me.
Yeah, I mean the menu's
and you didn't really love
the
yours
menu's
either.
absolutely the menu's like absolutely stacked. Again, so like I'd like to revisit it, but you bring up a good point. Like when you mentioned the salad wasn't like super flavorful, when you said that, it kind of clicked to me too, because I felt like my turkey sandwich, it was okay, but it was not in any way the best like turkey club that I'd had. And it wasn't, super flavorful in it. And the fries, they're very, they're shoestring fries.
I liked the fries.
But they're almost cut so small that they were like dried out. And so I don't know if it's because they were like sitting for a little bit or whatever, but like they were almost cut too thin that they became like dry and were kind of tough. And so I like to have like a little bit like of a chewy fry. Like I like a good like crust and like a good like crisp fry on the outside, but like you want a little bit to like chew on inside. And I feel like it didn't have that.
Did you think that they like kind of felt hollow?
No, they were just so small. They just kind of like just dried out. They were just like overcooked to a certain extent. So
it was almost like more of a chip.
Yeah. So really didn't care for the fries. And then, like you mentioned, like I think that's probably what it was with the turkey sandwiches. It was missing like a flavor to it. So, I mean, overall, I think this is probably.
I think this was the worst lowest place that we ate.
Yeah, that we ate at. But again, I want to go back because there's just so much other stuff on the menu. Like you do kind of wonder, like, did I just order the wrong thing? Did I catch them on a bad day? Like there's
and
enough.
that happens. I
yeah.
mean, we eat at the same restaurants all the time here, and there's every now and again we'll go and I'll be like, this wasn't prepared very well. Like the last time I got a salmon salad at the place that we always get a salmon salad from, and I'm pretty sure they forgot the dressing completely. I was halfway through the salad before I realized it, but like, so you can't necessarily judge it based on one time.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't want to say like, hey, this is a bad place. I just think what we got again. It wasn't horrible. Like that's why again I feel like
really glowing Yelp
but
review.
Again,
it wasn't horrible.
But again, this is my point to kind of like what I talked about at the beginning of the episode. Like you're gonna have a solid meal. Like it was a solid for me. I got like a turkey club sandwich. It was a solid turkey club sandwich. You had a solid salad. Was it?
I wouldn't call it a solid salad, but it was a salad.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't like it was inedible. It wasn't like you ate it and you're like, this is terrible. I can't finish this. I can't eat it. Did you love it? No. Did it maybe need some more flavor? Yes. But it wasn't like you left there thinking that was such a bad meal. I need to go eat somewhere else now. So what? So my point is again, like when you're trying these places, it's gonna be decent enough as long as you order something that you kind of like. It's going to be decent enough that you're going to at least maybe you're going to leave and go, and that was a little bit overpriced. I didn't really love that. But you're not going to go thinking like, I'm not going to be able to finish this. I got to go somewhere else now. But maybe you order something that you love and it like knocks it out of the park. You're like, this is the best thing I've ever had.
Yeah. I think that I did leave, which was nuts to me. I ordered 2 things. I way over ordered for one person. I left there and was like, yeah, I could eat right now. I think we ended up going to Gideon's and we had cake and stuff. So like, it wasn't that I didn't eat my food. It was just that what I got didn't feel even particularly like filling.
It wasn't filling. Yeah.
But I mean, that's partially my fault because it was a salad. But yeah.
You got to eat a little bit more substantial. I will say there was a lot. I mean, the sandwich had a lot of turkey on it. Like it was a big sandwich, so it was very, very filling from that perspective.
So then we did go to the Boathouse, like we were kind of saying up at the top of the episode. We did end up getting reservations to go to the Boathouse. We do enjoy the Boathouse and their rolls particularly, but kind of going back to what we said before, you really were enjoying the rolls a lot, and I typically am not like a big bread person, but I love their rolls. They have like a honey butter that they put on the rolls, and usually it's like they're dripping with that. And that day when we got our rolls,
too much. I don't like it. I don't like when it's dripping with the honey.
You shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
It's too sticky. It's too sticky. I thought they were perfect this time.
No, they were nowhere near as good as they usually are. Like they were just kind of like a regular roll. They had a little bit of sweetness to them, but they were not their true to form Boathouse rolls for me. So I'd be interested to see if they like backed off of that honey butter, or because usually the plate is sticky underneath.
It's too much.
It is not too much. You're so wrong.
It is too much.
Please, everybody tell Joe how wrong he is about this.
I will say the Boathouse was perfect. We went there the evening after the half marathon. I carb loaded on their rolls for the marathon. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the reasons why I completed the marathon so successfully and did not feel like I was crashing in any way, because
I think you had 2 full plates of...
I didn't have 2 full plates. I was going to say I probably ate 4. I probably ate 4 rolls that night, because I feel like we got like 6 or something. Like I forget how many they brought. Like they definitely brought us more.
Well, there were 4. I think there were 4 rolls on a plate, and I think I ate 3. So you do the math.
Okay, so maybe I ate 5. I said 4 or 5. But I thought they were good. So definitely carb loaded. I ended up getting the hamburger with fries, which was $19.50. Really good.
Yeah.
Like they have a blend of, I think it's brisket and chuck is I think what the waiter said. Super flavorful. Like one of the most flavorful hamburgers. And I'm somebody that doesn't get like all the toppings on a hamburger.
You're like a purist.
Yeah, I eat things like very plain. So my hamburger, like I didn't have, cheese and ketchup and mustard, all that sort of stuff on it. And even without that, like the meat is so flavorful. It was so delicious, even not having any of the other stuff. And the buns, I don't know if they make them there, but like super soft, super fresh. I absolutely loved it. It was great. I think the Boathouse is like the most solid meal you can have at Disney Springs. Like I feel like I've never had a bad experience at the Boathouse. You had the cedar plank salmon with carrots, broccoli, and a lemon vinaigrette, which was $31.
So I thought that the salmon was good. Typically when I order salmon somewhere, I get like a blackened salmon. So I like it to have like, I don't know, a lot of flavor to it. Every now and again, I'll get a wood grilled salmon, but I'm usually highly judgy about it. So this cedar plank salmon, I thought like held its own really well. Like I'm usually pretty picky about that.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I tried a little bit of it. It was if you like salmon, it was a very well done salmon.
It was a nice salmon. Like it was not like, it was just kind of perfectly done. Like not overly flavorful, not under flavorful. It was kind of just right. And then as far as like the broccolini, I don't really like cooked carrots. I should have told them not to even give me those, but the broccolini was okay. I'm a big fan of broccolini. I like broccoli, but I like it kind of in a specific way. I think I'm so used to the way that you prepare broccoli at home, where like I have you kind of like crisp it up a little bit, lots of salt and pepper. This one didn't have a whole lot of seasonings or anything on it, so I thought it was rather like, again, kind of bland. So it was, that part was okay. The salmon was good. So for me, honestly, this meal was mid.
Yeah, I mean, my problem with the Boathouse is they have desserts that sound amazing, like a chocolate cake and everything, and I'm always so full after eating that I never have room for dessert.
And typically also when we do the Boathouse, we go to Gideon's and get cookies. So we're not going to get dessert and then go get dessert again.
One day I have to order dessert and I'll just take it back to the room and like eat it later.
Next time you do the dopey.
No, I mean, just next time I go, I'll just go and do that. But like, that's my problem with the Boathouse is like, the food's so good and there's so much of it. Like I'm always full beforehand. So you thought you were kind of middle of the road. I mean, and again, like you like your salmon prepared differently.
I thought the salmon was relatively solid. It was the accoutrements and the bread for me at least that particular time that we went that made it more like it didn't quite match some of the other meals I feel like that we've had there. So
far you had terrible meals everywhere you went.
Yeah, but that trend broke when we went to the Wailulu Bar and Grill, which is the new restaurant, and it also is a walk-up bar over at the tower at the Poly.
Yeah, so this is the new Island Tower. It's the restaurant there. Like you said, they have a bar, very small bar. So like when we went, it was like an hour wait to get a table. They're like, you can go over to the bar. We walked over there. All the seats were taken.
And there were like 3 or 4 people standing around waiting to get seats at the bar as well.
So we just did mobile order. I was like, I'm just going to mobile order it because I can mobile order it immediately, and ordered it, and like 15 minutes later we had food.
It was such a great experience.
Because then we just ate by the pool right there. Like it was so nice.
It was so nice because since we were staying at the Poly, we could go into the pool. We scanned into the pool and then we went over to the hammocks and kind of ate by the hammocks in the fake grass. And it was sunny, so it was just like a all around great experience.
It was great vibes. Like the atmosphere of that whole island tower, just like sitting at that pool area, like right along the lagoon and everything. Like you said, it was sunny. It was a nice day. It was a little bit warmer that day. It was just great. It was just like a cool place just to sit and relax. And it was nice you could mobile order and just kind of eat there.
Right. And then I got the tofu poke bowl, which was $22, and it had tofu, rice, pickled cucumbers, veggies, and spicy poke sauce.
So this is like right up your alley.
Yeah, but I've never eaten a poke bowl before. Like, I was a little nervous about that because that's like more of like a Hawaiian flavor. We've eaten over at Ohana. I like some of the food there, not some of the food there. So I was a little nervous about it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm going to just go in. I'm going to try this. And I loved it. So it gave me very strong like Suli Canteen vibes but like prepared like and packaged nicer. Like it just looked a little bit nicer than Suli Canteen does. And I just thought it was very flavorful, very like just very good. And again, this was $22. This is like, it's almost half the price, or like $10 less than the price of some of the meals that we ate in the other places like that we've mentioned so far. And the food was just so far superior in my mind. And again, I mean, you are right. It is kind of closer to what I typically eat. Like it does have like a little bit, even though it's Hawaiian, it's sort of like Asian, and I do really enjoy that kind of cuisine. But I would highly recommend it. Highly would love to go back. This is a great place to stop over if you're at the Magic Kingdom and you're like, what do I want to eat? I'm going to go over to the Poly. Go or mobile order there because I thought that this was really fantastic. What about you?
It was okay. I mean, I thought it was okay. It's definitely not my style of cuisine that I typically go for. So I got the Wayfinder burger. That was $23. Comes with sweet potato fries. Again, I eat things plain, so like it comes with an onion jam and a volcano sauce. I didn't get any of that, so like maybe that would add to it. I'm not a huge fan of sweet potato fries. These are actually pretty good though.
Oh, they were so good.
I was actually surprised because I was kind of like, this is my
you
only,
weren't thrilled.
Yeah, this is my only option, but I actually like them, so I was pleasantly surprised by it. So overall, I thought it was good. I think for a place where you can mobile order from, this was good. Like that's the thing. Like I think as a sit down restaurant, again, for me at least, like the burger's the only thing on the menu that I'm eating. Like I'm not eating anything else on this menu. So it's not like this is a place I'm going to go back to and I'm going to be able to have 3 or 4 options there. Like there's one thing I can get. That's the only thing I'm getting. For a sit down restaurant, I don't know that that's great. But for, again, like a mobile order, again, you're a quick thing. You know, if you're staying at the Poly, you're sitting by the pool, you're going somewhere, you're just coming quickly from Magic Kingdom, I think it's a solid option. Again, for you like this cuisine, you like the, you know, kind of Polynesian flavors and stuff like that. There's a lot more options for you there. And so it's a very limited menu to begin with because it's kind of like a pool bar. But like for me, this isn't like high on my list, but I could see for you, again, this kind of comes down to what do you like to eat, you know?
Yeah. In some ways it is funny because Joe and I are a little like super kind of incompatible as far as like the flavors that we enjoy, but I feel like that dish was so good that there were other things on the dish that I was more iffy about, that like sweet potato hummus, for example, that I'm like, you know what, maybe I should give that, like maybe I'll give that a try sometime, because I thought that this was like an interesting combination of flavors. They did it in their own way and I really enjoyed it, so I would be willing to try like something, take a few more risks, unlike where kind of how I felt about Summerhouse, where I'm like, you know, I didn't love what I had, would they mess up a Brussels sprout salad as well? Like they did kale kind of dirty, would they do that to Brussels sprouts?
Yeah, I think the other you know, good thing with the Wailulu bar is it is a really good option at the Poly. So like, you know, your other options there, like Captain Cook's, where it's more standard, like chicken fingers, flatbread pizza, like that sort of thing. Like this is a nice addition for the Polynesian. You know, again, if you're mobile ordering, if you're kind of treating it kind of like a quick service, you know, type thing where like you can get some different, unique food options there versus just kind of like your standard fare that you're going to get at like Captain Cook's or, you know, Kona Cafe, if you're not going to Ohana, you know what I'm saying? So like I think overall I think it's a positive. Again, just maybe not my style so much. And we also got a chance to eat at Homecomin, which this was our first time eating there as well. So this is another Disney Springs restaurant. So we spent a lot of time at Disney Springs this trip. Again, this is one that have heard very positive things about going into it. This is, I found out when we get there, they kind of tell you they are known for their fried chicken. I guess Chef Art Smith is kind of known for his fried chicken. So when you go there, they have a lot of fried chicken items. And so you kind of feel like, hey, if I'm going there, I got to get fried chicken.
You know what? I'm gonna stop you right there. I have never been a person that chicken and waffles has appealed to. I feel like that's kind of, I don't know. It just seems weird to me. If I was going to ever order chicken and waffles, this would be the joint.
Place.
Yep.
Yeah, because they're known for their fried chicken. So of course I got the grilled chicken. Because they were talking up. So you ended up getting the fried chicken.
Yeah, I was like, when in Rome, you know.
Yeah, so I knew you had that, so I could try that. So I wanted to try the grilled chicken. I got the country club. So it was a grilled chicken club with bacon and white cheddar. It was $20, which is a pretty good deal with fries. You got the fried chicken dinner. You got mac and cheese and a donut as your side.
Yeah,
and
because
that
I
was
could have gotten a
$34.
biscuit, and I was, I'm sure that the biscuits are good, but I was like, oh, I want to try these donuts because there was another dish on there that was like chicken and donuts. So I was like, you know what, like,
Well, and the donut's not their donut; it's an
yeah,
Everglazed donut.
yeah, it
so,
isn't their donut. I felt like, yeah, I just wanted to try.
You liked the fried chicken though.
I loved it. So it was really, really tasty. It was like not dried out. Sometimes, fried chicken, because they fry it and stuff, they can dry it out a little bit. I thought that the breading had really great flavor to it. Again, like, I don't eat fried chicken a whole lot, but I was just like, I want to try it. I felt like it was crispy as well. So it was just a really nicely done fried chicken. And then the thing about it that maybe even elevated it more for me is I didn't want to like waste it. It was a big piece of fried chicken. So I brought it back to the room and I was like, there's no way you're going to eat this, Angela. Like, you're going to bring it back to the room because you feel bad about wasting food, but you're never going to eat this. But, and I brought like some of the mac and cheese home as well. The mac and cheese, we didn't have time to like really heat it up. So I was eating it cold. Mac and cheese cold, not great, but that fried chicken cold. And like I used to see my mom and dad like eating fried chicken cold. And I'm like, that is like barbaric. I don't know. Something about that just like felt weird to me, but I get it now. It was so good cold. Like, and I thought it was amazing. So this is a place that I want to return to. Like, not even I would like to, but I want to return to.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. You mentioned I tried a little bit of your fried chicken. You mentioned it was very crispy. Like it had a very good crisp to it, but you're right, like the chicken was still like tender and juicy. Did you like the mac and cheese? Like regular. I know you said like cold it wasn't great. Like how was that?
And the nice thing about the mac and cheese, so the mac and cheese was excellent. I actually I was like, dude, do y'all have to try this mac and cheese? Because we were with
a big group. Everybody, I think, ordered like a different chicken dish. Everybody loved it. Like everybody said, like, yeah, the chicken here is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was really, like, really fantastic. I think so. One of my other favorite places with mac and cheese is actually Chick-fil-A. They have like a very creamy, like delicious mac and cheese. This I felt like was a little bit more on like the savory, like cheesy side. And it was really good. It's one of the best mac and cheeses that I've probably ever ordered out in a public restaurant. So again, like through and through, pretty much everything I had was excellent. I also got a drink.
You got moonshine too. Yeah, I was going to mention that. You got two moonshines
mixed together.
I forget what they called it.
Yeah, it was.
It was like it was like purple and blue.
Oh yeah, it was. Well, okay. So there was a blue drink and a purple drink. They have them on tap, and our waiter, he was like kind of explaining them to us. And this was the day of the marathon, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna like celebrate a little bit. And so he was saying that he liked the one drink mixed with the other one. It was really good. So I said like, hey, could I have you do that for me? So if you go there, you'll see they have them all on tap. Like they're in like machines. There's a red one and a blue one.
It added like sweetness to it. It was like the way it.
Yeah, it was together. One was stronger than the other one. The other one was very sweet. So he said they're actually really good mixed together. And I'm like, well, this guy works here. He knows what he's talking about. So I'll just do what he says.
He was really good.
He was really good. He was a great waiter.
Everything. So again, I got the grilled chicken. I thought the grilled chicken was very good as well. So like you can't go wrong with the chicken. Very good chicken club. I think it was the best fries I had out of kind of like all of the fries at all the restaurants. I think looking back too at this, like for the price, again, the amount of food we got.
Oh yeah.
So like for $34, like you said, you had a lot of leftovers. Everybody else, like huge pieces of chicken. Like I think a couple people took food home with them.
The other Joe's chicken was as big as his whole plate. It was crazy.
So I think in terms of value, I mean, just looking back, like my chicken sandwich was only $20 versus like if you look at Summerhouse on the Lake, my turkey sandwich was $19. Like I would much rather have that grilled chicken sandwich for $20 than a $19 turkey sandwich on Summerhouse on the Lake. So pretty good value, great food. I think that was one where, again, people ordered all different things and everybody liked it. It didn't seem like you could go wrong with what you had there. And another place where, again, there's a lot of different chicken dishes. It's like, hey, I'd go back there again in a heartbeat and try something else.
Yeah, and it was interesting because when we were riding the bus back on one of the races, I don't know if it was the 10K or the half, there was a man in front of us who was like talking, and I was eavesdropping, but he was talking about places to eat, and he's like, oh yeah, if you ever see like reservations for Homecomin open up, like make sure you grab them. And he was raving about it too, so it kind of made me excited, and it definitely lived up to the hype. If you like fried chicken at all, like would highly recommend. There's another dish there that both of you and I were looking at. It was like a chicken piccata, I think. Like
it was like their version of
their version of it. I would go back, order that. Like I 100% think like the next time we go to Disney World, we might have fights because you're gonna want to go to the Boathouse and I'm gonna want to go to Homecomin.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think for me, those are my two top ones: is the Boathouse and Homecomin. Those are my two favorites. Summerhouse on the Lake, again, didn't love, but their brunch looks great. They have some like interesting options there for brunch, so I would like to try that for brunch and see what that's like. But for me, in terms of like what was the best places, what should I go back to easily every time, or some other time we go multiple times, the Boathouse for sure. And Homecomin.
I feel like we need to do like we spent an entire day in Disney Springs, what did we do episode.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's so much to do. And that's what's interesting too, is like the two favorite ones are at Disney Springs. Like they're not in the theme parks, which I feel like Disney Springs does have a lot of good restaurants, and I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily know about them or go there because they're not at the theme parks. And it is a little bit of a hike because you can't get a bus from a theme park. You gotta go back to your hotel and then go to Disney Springs.
Or you have to spend extra money to get an Uber or a Lyft from one place to there.
It's not easy to get there, but they're stacked. Like they got a lot of great restaurants there. Like we ate at Paddlefish. That's another one. Not this trip, but a previous trip. And that's really solid as well. Like there's a lot of great options down at Disney Springs.
And I know people like really enjoy Wine Bar George. Like there's a number of places down there that people really enjoy. We've eaten at the Edison before. So like it is just completely stacked with places to eat.
And I feel like everything's very themed too, differently. I mean, like they have like a Rainforest Cafe, they have a T-Rex Cafe, but like the Edison's themed like a speakeasy. Paddlefish is in.
Oh yeah, and they have live entertainment.
Paddlefish is in the boat. Like you're actually in an old boat. The Boathouse is really cool theming.
They have the amphicar there. We were actually going to do it this time with our friends, but we just kind of were getting tired and we were kind of ready to go back to the room. So, but it's really a cool place to be, like great atmosphere.
Yeah, love Disney Springs. So what was your top? Your top was?
I would say, that's a hard one. So I think that for me, I think Homecomin was my favorite just because it is so different than what I normally would eat and for like a sit down. But the Wailulu bar was also really incredible. Would eat there again. We stay at the Poly a lot. So lucky for me, I don't have to pick one or the other. I can kind of say both.
I will say the actual best thing I had, and this is a big shout out to Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe, hamburger there, tasted Michelin star quality, because I had that after walking around all day for 9 hours in the parks and like not having eaten anything in like 7 hours.
You also have awarded a Michelin star to a Denny's in Lake Tahoe. Yes. So, I mean, I wouldn't really go by what Joe says as far as what deserves a Michelin star. It just goes by how hungry he is.
But it was like legitimately, people hate on Cosmic Rays. That tasted so good. So big shout out to them. We also tried that Crème Brûlée croissant at Gaston's.
Yes.
This is $5.49. You really liked it. I thought it was okay.
Oh my gosh. I still don't understand where your brain is at. So it was exactly what it advertised itself to be. It was like you took a croissant and you married it to some creme brulee. It had the like creme brulee like caramelized topping on it. It was filled with some of the custard inside. It was really tasty, especially once we got to the creme brulee filling. At first, I was like, I don't know if this is that good because I was just kind of hitting croissant. But the only thing about it that I'd say maybe knock it for is that the croissant itself wasn't super flaky, but It was really tasty, 100% something that I would treat myself, go back and get. Like, this gives me a reason to want to go over there. And a lot of people like the big cinnamon rolls. I wasn't a big fan when we ate that there before. They sometimes will be like, oh, you got to try the gray stuff. It's delicious. Also not a big fan.
Ask the dishes.
Yeah, exactly. Of that. I think they also have like a drink. They have like don't they have like a cider drink?
They have LeFou's Brew there as well. Yeah, I will say.
So this was my favorite thing I've ever eaten from there.
Never have to eat it again.
I do.
I did not. It was okay. It wasn't bad. It was okay. It was. I feel like it was better than a lot of these, like, I don't want to call them odd, but like when they do these unique mashups of food.
Well, sometimes they do the like Instagram worthy stuff.
Right. So this definitely wasn't that. It was better than that, but it wasn't anything I felt like that was that great that I need to go and do it again. You really loved it. I was surprised. Like, this is amazing. I was like, really? Like, I didn't think you were going to like it.
I thought it was really, really good. And for me, it sort of is like, okay, if we don't have time to get, I don't necessarily know that we have a breakfast spot, like a place like breakfast food that we really enjoy. I think that honestly, my favorite breakfast food, I think over at Art of Animation, there's like a vegetarian like scramble of some sort, like with like Impossible meat. I think I really enjoy that. But other than that, I don't think I've ever found anything in Walt Disney World that I really love. I want to love the Mickey waffles.
Mickey waffles, 100%.
I think they are too cakey. Except next time I might have to try to be like, hey, can I have the gluten-free ones? Because I swear they're superior.
Well, the thing with the Mickey waffles, you definitely have to get the big Mickey waffle. When they switch to the small ones, I will give you the small ones aren't as good as like the full-size Mickey waffles. If you can find the full-size Mickey waffles, those are definitely good. But I definitely would not get the creme brulee croissant for breakfast. In no way am I eating that for breakfast.
If I'm gonna go and say like, you know what, I'm feeling like donut for breakfast, because that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
This is directly where I'm going. I'm not like, you know, I've never tried one of Joffrey's donuts. They do look good, but if I'm like, I am in a bind, I am hungry, I want something good that I know I'm gonna enjoy, for breakfast, I might go over there. Because listen, this might be controversial. Maybe people disagree with me. I hate the way Walt Disney World prepares their scrambled eggs. I don't like runny eggs. I like my eggs really well done. And like, so whenever you get breakfast food there and you get your watery eggs and you get your, like your little sausage links or whatever, like overall, it's very like generally unappetizing for me. I got there, over at, one day you got me the white chocolate chip and macadamia nuts pancakes over at Kona Cafe. I thought like they were good. Like they definitely are delicious, but I a lot of times like savory stuff with my breakfast. So yeah, just overall, if I'm going for something sweet, this is where I'm going.
So basically this whole episode, I don't know whether you should eat at any of these restaurants or not, because I feel like what I liked, you're like, it was okay. What you're like is great. I was like, it
you
was
like Chef Art Smith. I think we found a common ground there.
Yeah, and you like the Boathouse too. You were just mad that they didn't have enough honey on the rolls. I think a little bit more honey, you would have been sold on the Boathouse as well, because we go there all the time. And I think it's great every time we go.
You attract more flies with honey.
So that's a good point. But yeah, so maybe Chef Art Smith's Homecomin is the place to go. Otherwise, it's like, I recommend try it. Try it all.
Try everything.
Yeah. So
that was not at all what that sounds like.
So those are some recommendations. Would love to hear from our listeners. Like, what's your favorite place? What's your go-to place to eat when you're at Walt Disney World? If you're watching this on YouTube, let us know in the comments, or you can let us know over on Instagram. We're at Enchanted Ears Podcast over there. But that wraps up the show for this week. Want to thank everybody again for listening. If you've not done so, please leave us a rating or a review. Subscribe wherever you get your podcast. It really helps, and we really appreciate it.
Thanks for lending us your ears.
Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you here next Monday.
Bye-bye.